In this video, we are going to use quadratic equations and the Pythagorean theorem to solve a word problem. A rectangular sunroom is 3 feet longer than it is wide and has an area of 154 square feet. Find the length of the diagonal of the room. So let's draw this room. So we have 3 feet longer than it is wide. So we're going to call one of these sides W, and the other side is going to be W plus 3. It doesn't really matter which one you decide to call W and W plus 3. And we know that the area is 154 square feet. So that means when we multiply length times width, we get our area. So in this case, length times width is W plus 3 times W is equal to 154. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to solve this. So first thing I'm going to do is distribute this W, so I end up with W squared plus 3W is equal to 154. Now, I could try completing the square from here, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to subtract 154 on both sides and get all the terms on one side and then sort of reevaluate my life here. Okay, now from here I can decide, do I want to factor this? Do I want to use the quadratic formula? Having a middle term that's odd doesn't really make me want to complete the square. But I think I can factor this relatively easily. Maybe not everybody can, but I'm a little bit more familiar with these factors. So factors of negative 154, 14 times 10 is 140. So 14 times 11 is 154. So I have a negative 154, so I know these are going to be opposite signs. I got a positive middle term, so I'm going to say the 14 is positive, the 11 is negative. You can check your outers and inners here, and you can see that we get the middle term. So now we factor this. Now we're going to use the zero product property. So W plus 14 is equal to 0, or W minus 11 is equal to 0. Solve both of these. So I get W is equal to 11, or W is equal to negative 14. Well, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have a width that's negative 14. So my width of 11 feet is more legitimate. So I can go up to my room here, and I could say, okay, W is equal to 11 feet. Which makes W plus 3 equal to 11 plus 3, which is 14 feet. Okay, this is great. But now the question says find the length of the diagonal of the room. So here's the diagonal of the room. You could see this is a rectangular room that's 11 by 14. So let's just draw that right here. So we have 11 by 14. Should be a right angle right there. And I am looking for the diagonal. So you might remember, if we have a right triangle, we're looking for the hypotenuse, we could use the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem says the leg squared plus the leg squared is equal to the hypotenuse squared. So in order to find that hypotenuse squared, just take the square root of both sides. So I need to find the square root of 11 squared plus 14 squared. Is that pretty? That's a very good question. I don't know. Let's try to add these together and find out. That's 121. 14 squared is 196. Add these up. So let's see. We get 297. So that's going to be 317. I know 317 is not a perfect square. So I could give my answer as square root of 317 feet, but man, does that seem unsatisfying. So let's see if I can find a calculator somewhere around here. Let's see, sometimes I could just use Desmos. So let's see, square root of 317 is 17.804. We'll round that to 17.8. So the diagonal of the room is about 17.8 feet.